Hey guys, my name is James Walsh, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. I want to thank you for finding us. Please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and the notifications bell. And if you get the chance on this video, click the like button. If you do, it'll turn blue. Check it out. Also, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for all this great content available in MP3 format, our online store that'll keep us going free and clear, daily news updates, as well as all the information from the history of professional wrestling you could possibly ever want. Check out WrestlingEpicenter.com online right now. Without any delay, let's get to your interview here on the Wrestling Epicenter. We are moving right along here at the Wrestling Epicenter, and what a interview this was in very late 2007 with Sunny, Tammy Lynn Sytch. In fact, this interview aired the same week that she, I'm going to say, last appeared on Raw when she was trying to make a comeback very late in the day. And she looked great at that point, much better than she did in the adult film that she made a few years later. This is a fantastic interview. She talks about everything from wrestling Vixxxens to the passing of Chris Candido to her rise to fame. So much great stuff in this interview. We piss her off at one point, in fact, when we talk about Missy Hyatt a little too much. Never can talk about Missy Hyatt too much. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this interview with the one and only Sunny, Tammy Lynn Sytch, WWE Hall of Famer. And if you like what we do, please do click that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, click like so the algorithms know that we like to be paid and we lack the money. So please do me a favor and do that for me. Also, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com. Click the store if you do go there and buy something. Will you keep us going free and clear? Without any further delay, let's get to the interview here at WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Freaking exhausted. I'm tired of unpacking already.
Yeah, tell me about it. I worked since 7 a.m. and just got back literally like 10 minutes ago from taking our kid to the zoo because they have the Christmas lights up all over in the shape of animals and things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if I'm a little all over the place with this interview, it's because I just wasn't as prepared as I like to be, but it should be good because I obviously followed your career.
No, I'm just like half asleep. Seriously, all I do is unpack and unpack and unpack, and there's still tons of boxes everywhere. It just doesn't end.
No, it doesn't end. We have, like I told John Aim one time, we just bought a house here back in July, and it's 4 bedrooms, and one of them is just completely full of boxes. And as much as we empty, it's still a storage closet right now.
Where do you live?
It's in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
I came from New Jersey too, so.
Where in New Jersey again?
Richfield, New Jersey.
Yeah, I remember you told me that one.
Yeah, that's right by Giant Stadium there, right by the Meadowlands. Whatever they're calling it these days.
Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning on you.
All right, well, I guess we're ready to get started. You sure this is a good time, considering you're a little tired?
Yeah, I can take a break. That's cool.
Cool. All righty. Well, let's see. You want to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2... Welcome back to the interactive interview here on the Wrestling Epicenter Radio Network. On the Newsmaker line, we're being joined by somebody in 5 years I've never been able to pin down, and finally we have on the air Tammy Lynn Sytch, perhaps better known as Sunny. Tammy, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, but you got to get the intro straight, buddy. I'm the original diva.
The original diva.
Honey, there you go.
The original diva. Hey,
I always have to correct everyone on this.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, if somebody's going to call themselves the first lady of wrestling, well, you're definitely the first diva of wrestling.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad to have that title. It really is.
Well, that actually brings up some good questions. First of all, let me tell you how the format works. Is we're pretty much asking a lot of questions that were submitted to me via email and on our forums.
Okay.
And one of the first questions has to do with something that happened very recently to you. And that was what's now being called the fiasco in Frisco, the Wrestle Fan Fest. First of all, I heard you saved a life there.
Kind of, yeah.
What happened with that?
Well, I was just sitting at my table, signing autographs, doing Polaroids, doing what I got to do, and right in front of my table, this guy in I guess he was in looked like his mid-20s, maybe early 20s, all of a sudden goes into a seizure.
Okay.
Now, everybody looked pretty much shocked because if you've never seen a seizure in person, they're very scary. But luckily, well, not luckily, but Chris Candido had seizures all the time. So I was with him for 17 years, and I experienced probably about a dozen, maybe 20 seizures on his part, and he was on medication for it and everything. So I kind of understand a seizure and know how they are. And so basically, I just popped out. It was total instinct. I popped out from back of the table, went over to him, made sure he didn't swallow his tongue, make sure his head doesn't hit the floor, stabilize his neck. I did everything that you're supposed to do with a seizure patient. There's really not much more you can do. You have to let them ride it out. Like I said, you make sure they don't bite their tongue, you make sure their head doesn't hit the floor. Just try to be with them and try to comfort them until they come out of the seizure. There's really nothing more you can do. So as far as saving his life, it wasn't a life or death situation, but at least I was there for him to, help him through the seizure a little bit better. Where everybody else pretty much stood around, with their jaws dropped because they had no idea what to do. It's a real scary thing, It can be really scary.
Now, you were going through nursing school at one time, weren't you?
Well, I was pre-med in college years and decades ago.
Uh-huh.
But I actually just finished a medical technician program in September. So,
oh, really?
I do have training. I am CPR certified, and there is a little bit of a brain in this blonde still of mine. But I'm not the typical gypsy blonde. I am pretty smart, and I kind of just my instincts took over, and I knew how to handle the situation, so I just did what came naturally.
Oh, right. Well, from a business perspective, what happened in the San Francisco area? What happened there?
It was such a mess. I mean, the guy for some reason became friendly to me, for months and months ahead of the time before the convention. And, I guess that's just my nature. I'm a very friendly person. People, pretty much open up to me all the time. So he kind of got me on his side because he was very convincing on the phone that everything was going to, work out right. Turns out it was all a big scam. He was a big scam artist. But I basically took a guilt trip on him when I was out there. I said, dude, come on, you're screwing everybody left and right. I was the only one who stood by it this whole time. I made myself look like an ass, sticking up for the guy when everybody was questioning his, credibility. I said, I'm the one who looks stupid in this situation. I said, you better at least take care of me, I said, because I'm not a happy person right now. Luckily, I did walk away with cash where most people got just a check. I kind of got 75% cash, 25% on a check. Of course, the check was good. But at least I walked away with some money, whereas most people walked away with nothing. But it was a mess. Like I've always said, in this business you live and learn, and it happens. It's a shady business, and you got to realize that people are shady, and they're going to try to screw you every which way. But I heard the feds are after him, so we'll see what happens.
Do you think that's a problem with the business, that you're getting a lot of these promoters who are really just, I don't want to say scam artists or marks at heart?
Oh, absolutely. See, I've run a couple of shows in my time, not many, but a couple. Mm-hmm. And your basic rule of thumb is you've got to have all the money up front to pay all of your talent before you even sell a ticket. A lot of people go into a show thinking, oh, well, I'll just sell tickets and pay everybody at the ticket sales. I'm sure I'll do good enough. Well, most of the time that doesn't happen. Most of the time, running a wrestling show or convention, you're going to lose money. So you need to have all that cash, 100% of that cash up front to cover your talent fees. These guys don't. They think, there's tons of money flowing into, wrestling conventions. They want to run it. They promise all this cash. They fly people first class. And, when it comes down to it and they don't sell tickets, they can't pay. So a lot of people get in over their heads. A lot of people are scam artists and they're doing it on purpose. But, like I said, you live and learn.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a step back here. What's it like to go from being just a Jersey girl, pre-med student, I think you said, to going to being the most downloaded person on the internet, WWE superstar, WWF at the time? What's it like just to live the dream that most of us have? Not necessarily be the diva, but you know what I mean? Being the superstar.
Right. You know what? It was all so, it was almost overnight for me. I quit school. I got a phone call to audition for, the WWF, and I quit school as soon as they hired me, and, one thing led to another, and I became the most downloaded celebrity online in 96, 97. It was crazy. It was like a whirlwind. Sometimes I think, when I look back, I think a lot of it happened too fast, and I might have been too young for it, because I didn't really know at that young age how to handle it and how to deal with it the proper way. So I was young and stupid and made a lot of money, but spent most of it, one of those situations. Typical story of, a young kid with too much money to go around. But, and of course, fame goes to your head as well. And I could have, there were a lot of years I was a very difficult person to deal with business-wise. But like I said, I was young. You don't have all this money to, toss around. All this fame goes to your head and you make mistakes. But, and like I said, it was a whirlwind. Everything happened so fast. And, I never regret anything I've done in the past. And, of course, there are things I would have done differently. But, I guess everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. You got to move forward, because if you just live in the past thinking, what if, you're going to make yourself crazy.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this. This is another question coming in from our forums. They are going gung-ho, wanting to know, of all the things you did, all those vignettes and things that Vince had you do, and all the fun things that you did, color commentary, obviously all the announcing, what was your favorite? And I got to tell you, my favorite was the Tickle Me Shlomo or Elmo gimmick.
Oh, God. The sex tape with Elmo.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was so much fun. I was pulled into a meeting at, I think it was at a TV taping, and Vince said, we're going to have to do the sex tape. I was like, excuse me? What are you talking about? He's like, no, just listen. And he explained the whole thing. I said, oh, this is classic. This is going to get over like $1 million. It's going to be hysterical. Mm-hmm. So we had Todd Kettengill, my co-host on the TV show at the time, in the Elmo suit. We're actually in his house, in his bedroom, and his wife was directing us. It was hysterical. It was my idea to put the black song over the Elmo suit. We just had fun with it. We just, it just rolled around and goofed off and, made the best of it. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. And that's classic television right there. Those are the good old days,
Right. Now, you never felt that you went too far with what they did with you, did you?
No, absolutely not. There were a lot of things they wanted me to do that I said no to.
Now, do you think that they have crossed the line here and there over the past years?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some things, on TV that I would say to myself, oh my God, I never would have done that, or oh my God, that's pushing the envelope, that's going too far, But at the time I was a little bit young and crazy, but it was also very reserved. I was a very shy, 23-year-old when I was there. I was there for a few years, but I was young and I was a very shy girl, and there was a lot of times that I kind of had to say in a very nice way, no, I don't feel comfortable doing this because it was a little bit too much for me. Now, to look back at what I said no to is very tame compared to what they do on TV right now. Now I'm like, oh my God, the stuff I said no to would have been, child's play compared to what these girls are doing. But, I like I said, I was young and I was shy and I was reserved and I did turn down a few things, but, you do what you got to do for yourself.
Now, of course, we have to go here, and I know you hate going here, but one of the things that a lot of people were surprised about was the wrestling Vixxxens.
Right.
Now, we know that you were offered Playboy, and we know who ended up getting it, and that's, neither here nor there, but we know that you were offered Playboy and turned it down. If you could go back in time, would you have accepted that, or are you still stand by your decision?
The Playboy, if I went back in time, yeah, I would have done it. But like I said, at the time, I think I was 23 when the Playboy offer came, and it took me a whole 5 minutes to turn it down. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I'm too young. I'm not ready to do this. It's just, I was not ready. I was very, very shy. It was hard at the time. It was very hard for me to do a lingerie photo shoot because I felt so uncomfortable in lingerie because I'm not a lingerie type of girl. I mean, throw me in a skimpy little bikini and I'm fine because I wear that on the beach. Mm-hmm. Put me in a piece of lingerie or have it be overtly sexual like that, and that made me very uncomfortable. So doing Playboy was totally out of the question for me back then. And as far as the wrestling Vixxxens thing came around, I mean, I was older, I was more mature, and at the time, there wasn't a lot of full-time work, so, you do what you gotta do in life to pay the bill. I do regret doing the website, mainly because A, I got screwed out a lot of money, right. And B, it was just a poor choice on my part, but maybe I wasn't thinking straight and maybe I was just too worried about making the quick dollar.
Right.
As far as what I did for the photo shoots and for the website, I'm not ashamed of it because I didn't do anything sleazy or bad. I basically did very tame Playboy-like shots.
Right.
I would just do, if I did anything frontal, I was covering things. Most of the things were from the back or from the side, Right. I didn't do anything sleazy or skanky. The one thing I do regret being a part of the site at all is I was tied into a site that had a lot of other girls doing a lot worse things than I was.
Right.
And that made me look bad in a certain light. Whereas it doesn't matter how tame and how, reserved my pictures were, when, you click on the next girl who is playing with herself, it doesn't look good. And I was promised when I signed up for it that it wasn't going to be a website like that at all. It was all going to be just tame shots like mine, and it totally went off the deep end, and I got screwed. I got lied to, and I got screwed out of money. So if I look back on that, I would not have done it.
Now, you say you wouldn't have done it, and I remember you did a shoot interview back, I think, about a year and a half ago, and you made a comment that, well, I'll give you the backstory. We used to do a radio show with Francine, and we also, on one of our other shows, had Missy on as a regular guest, and she was a little... Don't worry, I'm not going to blast you. She hasn't given me any ammunition or anything. Don't worry about that. What is your relationship with Missy now, or have you guys patched things up?
I do not have any type of relationship with Missy Hyatt.
Ah.
I wish everyone in the world would stop thinking that we're friends, because we're not. We haven't been friends for years. I cut ties with her shortly after the Vixxxens things happened. She did a few things personally to me that were way out of line, and I cut ties with her altogether. The past couple of years, she's been trying to get back into my life. She's been telling people we're best friends again, which I have no idea why, because I don't even speak to her. I don't answer her phone calls. I don't answer her text messages. When I see her at appearances or shows, I act like she's not even there. So I don't know why people would think we're friends. But I do not have any type of relationship with her, any way, shape, or form.
Now, is her use of, I believe on her site, not that I'm going to plug it or anything, but on her site, I believe she's still using some of the stuff that you did for her, the old Vixxen site. Is that lawful, or is that something that you're very much legally not proud of? Or that you legally, could you take her to court for that, I should say?
I don't know if I could, because I don't think she's making money off of it. I don't know. I haven't seen her website. I don't really care about her website. I don't care about her. I'd like to just forget about the whole Vixxens thing, because the more I involve myself with the website or any of the pictures, I involve myself with her.
Right.
And I've cut my ties so cleanly from her and gotten away from her, and people are finally starting to realize that Tammy and Missy are not in the same sentence, at all. That if I tie myself into her in any way, whether it be a lawsuit, whether it be anything, then I have, more open communication lines with her, and I don't want that. So, you know what? If she wants to make, a quarter off a picture of me, so be it. More power to her, because she needs all the help she can get. So that's all I know.
Alrighty. Well, getting back to happy.
Can we stop talking about Missy Hyatt now?
We are stopping talking about Missy Hyatt now. I do apologize.
I never talk about her, and here we go. Talk about her.
And I also won't mention somebody whose name starts with an R and M, so don't worry about that either.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not here to blast you, so I do apologize. All right, the next question I have for you is about ECW. Now, ECW, when you were there, obviously when you came in, you were WWF superstar Sonny, and I mean, it was the hugest thing in the world, because I mean, like I mentioned, I grew up in New Jersey. I watched that stuff. I'd stay up till 2 a.m. I think it was on MSG Network at one point. I mean, I love that stuff. Now, for you going from the WWF, and I believe at the same time working for ECW as well, what was the differences to you? Was it just the differences in the building, or was it just a completely different atmosphere in ECW?
It was a completely different atmosphere as far as how the business was run, how the angles were, the type of people you had in the locker room. It was completely different. But to me, work is work, business is business. It's all the same. So, I mean, I don't care if I am in a bingo hall or if I'm at Madison Square Garden. Work is work. So as far as I was concerned, I was going, doing my job, getting a paycheck, and going home. And that's really, it's really all it should be. You should not let it get into your personal life at all.
So you basically didn't ever drink the, for lack of a better term, Kool-Aid.
What do you mean?
Some people say they lived and breathed and died for ECW. You were just...
Oh, no. I did not live and breathe and die ECW, believe me.
Alrighty. Well, this is probably something you don't get asked very often, because a lot of people, for some reason, it must have seemed like a blur to them, because I guess the company was dying. But you were actually a part of WCW, and what did you think were the major differences in the way that company was operating at the time?
WCW sucked.
Well, that's a good way of putting it.
No, that was probably the worst place I've worked. Well, besides Puerto Rico, that was the worst place. But no, WCW was just awful. They had me in the ring every single night. I'm not a wrestler, and now I have severe back problems because of it. I need back surgery within the next year, and it was just horrible. The storylines are horrible. Everybody had a very bad attitude in the locker room. Nobody was friends with one another. It was just miserable. It was a very miserable place, and thank God that only lasted a year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's a very positive outlook.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible.
So not as bad as Puerto Rico, though.
No, Puerto Rico was the total drizzle and poop. You know, it was horrible.
And now, if I'm not mistaken, Puerto Rico is why you were considering getting out of the business, correct?
Yeah, you know, I think Puerto Rico is a place that totally turned me off to the business. And when I came back from Puerto Rico, I actually said I don't want anything to do with business anymore. I didn't want even to do an indie show. I hated it. Mm-hmm. Puerto Rico, we were supposed to be there for 2 years, and after 6 months, I said, you know what? I said to Chris, I'm going home. If you want to come, come. If not, you can stay here and starve with us. Because Puerto Rico, Carlos Colon and Victor Jolica, they pretty much want you to work every night for free.
Yeah.
And when they don't have money at the end of the night to pay you because they're, you know, greedy bastards and they pocket everything, they want to pay you in a can of beer, a cup of soda, or an empanadilla. So, and that doesn't really fly with me.
No.
So I wanted to leave after 2 months, but Chris convinced me to stay because he was always too nice of a guy for this business. He could never say no to anybody, and he could never demand his money. He was a pushover, big time pushover. And he convinced me to stay as long as I did. And finally, I gave him the ultimatum. I said, "I'm going home. You can call me. You can stay. It's up to you." And of course, he came with me.
Now, Ashton Blaze from the forum wants to know the story about the ring truck.
Huh?
The story about the ring truck in Puerto Rico. Does that make any sense to you?
Oh, yeah. Story about the ring truck. I'm not going to say who because I'm not going to incriminate anyone, but somebody stole the keys to the ring truck and kind of like to hold them ransom to try to get paid, you know, their paycheck. And it was actually the ring truck that held all the TV equipment, too, the cameras and all the producing and editing equipment. And when the money did not show up for pay that night, they returned to the beach with the ring truck keys and threw them in the ocean. The ring truck story. I'm not going to say who it was, but he didn't last much longer than Chris and I. So.
All right. Well, hey, that's a hell of a way of getting even. Alrighty, and I guess what we're going to talk about now is you mentioned once upon a time that you were working on an autobiography, and a lot of people were really interested in that because obviously these autobiographies are selling like hotcakes. I think Bret Hart's is still number 2 in the entire country of Canada, and Jericho, last I checked, was number 2 on Amazon for biography. So those things are selling like hotcakes. How is the work on that coming?
Well, I started writing, you know, just jotting down some ideas, but I basically just got through buying a house and everything, so everything was put on hold for the past 6 months because my life has just been absolutely crazy with the whole house situation. Mm-hmm. But once the new year starts, I'm going to continue writing, and I'll see, you know, what I can come up with. I've got so many stories and so many funny road stories and so many ribs, and I mean, I've got so much fun stuff to, you know, let everybody know. So that's the one thing. My book is not going to be. My book is not going to take anyone down. My book's not going to attack anyone. It's not going to, you know, expose who had affairs with who on the road. I'm not going to ruin anybody's families. You know, it's just going to be a fun read. It's going to be interesting and fun and something that you're just not going to want to put down. And it's not going to be trashy like Missy Hyatt's book. Here we go, bringing that whore up again. It's not going to be like that, where, you know, she probably ruined a few families and should have gone into witness protection after that. And it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to bash companies. It's just going to be a really good, fun read. A lot of stories that no one would ever know unless you were on the road. And I mean, one of the best places to be is on the road with all the boys. It's a blast, and I'm going to tell all about it.
Now, I also have a couple questions coming in. Now, you mentioned something about WCW being a reason for your back injury, but I could have sworn you mentioned at one point that it was XPW that caused your back injury. Am I getting my signals mixed here? Or?
Well, no. Well, working in the ring every single night for WCW is what started it, and what totally compacted it and herniated my disc was the powerbomb through the table practice test. Yeah, that's Ashton Blaze again. Apparently he's a really big fan of yours. Sent in another questions asking about XPW. You wanted to know your opinions of Rob Black. Well, since he bounced $10,000 worth of checks on me, I don't think very highly of him.
Seems like there's a lot of really shady people in this business.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And since too, the very first day I was working for the guy, he asked me if I want to make some extra money and do porn for him.
Yeah.
So he's not a real stand-up kind of guy.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the questions he wanted me to ask you, but I thought, that's a little over the line, so I'm not going there.
Yeah, they asked me if I would do it, and I said, hell no.
Well, you mentioned you're the original diva, and with all the huge names coming back to the business now, trying to create some interest around it. And having seen recent pictures of you, which, by the way, and don't take this the wrong way, but you're looking great. You're looking absolutely incredible.
Well, why would I take that the wrong way?
Because my wife's sitting 5 feet behind me.
No, thanks. I'm trying really hard. I got my butt back in gear, got back in the gym, and back on my old diet, and just doing what I have to do to look like me again. And I'm really only 10 pounds away from my old sunny weight. I don't even know if I want to be that skinny again. I was almost close to anorexic, a couple of times I got so skinny, but I'm very happy with where I am. I would like to lose a couple more, of course. I mean, everybody's, nobody's ever happy with themselves, but I'm just very proud of myself for what I've done so far in the past year, and hopefully I can keep it up.
Do you think that you're gonna ever maybe try to entertain any thought of going back to the WWE?
I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. I mean, I'll be 35 on Friday. I would like one good last run, on TV before I get too old to do it anymore. But yeah, absolutely. If that's where life takes me, so be it, and I'll make the best of it.
Alrighty. Now, a couple final questions here. Griffin from our forums, who does a lot of work, so shout out to Griffin. He wants to know, what is the biggest misconception about Tammy Lynn Sytch?
The biggest misconception, well, there's probably two. A lot of people think I'm stupid, and a lot of people think I'm a bitch. I'm neither. I'm not dumb. Like I said, I once pre-med. I'm actually very intelligent, and I'm really not a bitch. People finally meet me and say, wow, she's actually a sweetheart and a really nice person. I'm a very caring person, and once people do meet me, they end up saying, oh my God, she's so nice, she's so this, she's so that, and that's just being me. I'm not being fake in any way, and I'm just being myself, and I guess those are the two biggest misconceptions.
Alrighty, do you mind if we close out, and I'll give you an opportunity to promote what you like after these questions, but do you mind if we close out with a few just random names? I think most people hate these, but word associations.
Sure.
Alrighty. First name on the list is somebody we lost earlier this year, and it really shocked me. Somebody that I think was a bit of a protector of yours is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Great guy, family person, acted like my bodyguard at times.
How about Shane Douglas?
Shane Douglas, complicated, good friend, can get on your nerves now and then.
Now, are you still in contact with him? Because I know at one time you and Chris were pretty good friends with him.
I haven't spoken to him in a couple of years. It's been a while.
Wow. Now, do you keep in contact with many people in the business, or?
Oh yeah, a ton.
Oh, good, good. Anybody you would name?
I have a few very close friends. I'm still very tight with Terry Reynolds. Dawn Marie's one of my best friends. Tracy Brooks is one of my best friends. Animal, I talk to every so often. Billy Gunn is a very dear friend of mine. He helped me get through a lot after Chris passed away. Oh God, there's a ton. But those are pretty much my close.
So there is a brotherhood of the business then?
There is. I mean, not between everyone. I mean, just like anywhere. Just like if you were in high school, you have there's cliques and there's friendships and there's enemies. But no, you do stay in contact, and people do stay in your lives over the years. And luckily, I have a few good ones.
And here's just a couple more for you, then I'll let you off the phone. I know I kept you a little bit longer than I said I would, and I do apologize for that. How about the Queen of Extreme, Francine?
I love Franny. She's the biggest goofball on the face of the earth, and that's why we get along so well.
Good, good, good. Alrighty, and another name on the list is, and I just drew a blank. How about we just go with the gusto here and just say the man who just passed away a few years ago. And I don't want to get emotional here, so just Chris Candido.
Hell of a wrestler, loved by all.
Loved by all. And the last two names on the list, Shawn Michaels. Don't have to say it if you don't want to.
9 months of fun.
I gotta tell you, we have a couple Shawn Michaels fanatics on there, and they, when your shoot interview came out, there was topics on our forums denying what you said, so I think it's a jealousy thing, but oh well.
Of course it's a jealousy thing, but I was the one in there, in Jamaica, and, I know the truth. So.
Alrighty, and the last name on the list is, of course, Vince McMahon.
Father figure. Always looked out for me, always treated me like a daughter. Love the man. Best boss I've ever had.
Now, you mentioned that you just got your certificate. Is it in September?
My what?
Your certificate? What exactly did you graduate in September?
Oh yeah, I graduated from a medical technician program. I'm CPR certified, and I didn't even begin to look for a real job because I'm still trying to do what I can in this business. But at least I went back to school. I had the urge. I'm in my element when I'm studying and when I'm in school. So it's always fun. I love being a bookworm.
Exactly. So what is the future for Tammy Sytch? What do you want to accomplish now?
Oh, geez. I'd love to go back to the WWE. Love to get one final run, maybe like a year or two, nothing crazy. And then, open up a business, be my own boss, and live happily ever after with my incredible cop boyfriend.
Yeah, I've heard of a few of the cops are getting lucky with some of the women of wrestling of late.
I know, isn't it weird? All WWE divas hook up with cops.
Yeah, I guess you need the protection.
Hey, he's the discipline I always needed and never had.
Alrighty. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for your time. Lastly, do you want to promote anything? Anything going on? Any websites? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah, definitely check out my website, www.tammysitchonline.com. Visit my MySpace page, www.myspace.com/TammySitch, the only official Tammy MySpace page. And check out all my upcoming events and bookings and come and see me. Everything's on there for the next few months. So, and I'm all over the world. I'm in this country. I'm in Europe. I'm in England. I'm in Germany. I'm in Scotland. I think I'm going to Portugal, too.
You're going to Portugal?
Check out the website. You'll see where I am, and make sure you come and say hi.
I'll look out for Aldo Montoya over there. All right, Tammy, thank you so much for stepping by. Again, this has been 5 years in the making for us. We've been doing this stuff for 5 years. I've hunted down Hogan and Flair and all the ones you can imagine, and somehow I just never was able to get a hold of you, so I'm so glad we actually sat down. And
nice got me.
It was great to have you. It really was.
Well, thank you very much. Stay cool.
Thank you very much. Now, before I let you go, can I ask for one little favor?
Yeah.
Would you mind giving us a liner? Just saying, sure. This is Tammy Sytch, and you're in the Wrestling Epicenter.
You're in the Wrestling Epicenter.
Yes, and once again, knowing that you have a brain in your head, I'm glad that you did not say Epicenter or something like that, because you'd be surprised. I had somebody, I don't think you're that big of a fan, don't worry, we're not recording, Jackie Gata, and for the love of...
I don't like that girl.
For the love of God, she couldn't get Epicenter. She just couldn't get it. She kept calling it the Episoder.
So you're in the Wrestling Epicenter?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, and you can record that at any time.
All right, ready? 3, 2... Hey everybody, this is the original diva of the WWE, Sunny. So if you want to know me by my real name, Tammy Lynn Sytch, and you are in the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey guys, my name is James Walsh, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. I want to thank you for finding us. Please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and the notifications bell. And if you get the chance on this video, click the like button. If you do, it'll turn blue. Check it out. Also, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for all this great content available in MP3 format, our online store that'll keep us going free and clear, daily news updates, as well as all the information from the history of professional wrestling you could possibly ever want. Check out WrestlingEpicenter.com online right now. Without any delay, let's get to your interview here on the Wrestling Epicenter.